there's another paper I have right here that shows there as, let's see, it was published in the Proceedings of the National Academy of Science. It's called Sex Differences in the Structural Connectome of the Human Brain. And basically, they're looking at the difference between a male and a female brain in how they're connected when you're thinking. So the female, the brain, the right and left hemispheres are heavily integrated when you're thinking about something or you're operating, but the male is heavily either left brain or right brain, majority of it, and they actually have diagrams where they got the outcome of 1,000 people. And this is a peer-reviewed paper in the Proceedings of the National Academy of Science. There is a very large difference between a male and a female brain. But what I note here is in this more recent paper, these scientists don't seem to take that into account. In other words, there could be very powerful female and male brains that, according to how the person thinks, laterally or let's say between the hemispheres or within the hemispheres. But in another sense, it looks like to me they're clutching at straws here to find some objective difference. I would have to infer from their paper is that the patients they're working with have the females, regardless of what they identify as, when they're think according to the female interhemisphere procedure, and the males follow the male procedure, regardless of how they identify. So they're now looking for something more nuanced, maybe something different. But then it becomes cherry picking. If you're trying to justify this scientifically, cherry picking and saying, oh, this might be the difference. And they're a long ways from being able to do that. Now, the other interesting thing, though, when you get back to your initial question is, in a material world, how did we get here? And that is, it reminds me of the research by J.D. Unwin, who found that when a society has their own sexual revolution, so to speak, rational thinking actually dissipates completely within that civilization within 3 generations. So rational thinking is where you have premises and logical conclusions. It would be heavily science oriented. And what we're witnessing now is an exodus away from science with the transgender debate, where the cold hard science says, no, this is a male and this is a female, this is a man or this is a woman. That's what the cold hard science says. But the feelings then trump up, because what in J.D. Unwin's research showed is that rational thinking is dispensed with, and what you want to believe emerges as the trump card that governs how that society works. But when they do that, the society reaches a point where it can no longer function and it collapses, because what you want to believe begins to spread into other areas, into laws, for example, into the work ethic, things that are really important for the flourishing of a society.